2023, some tough decisions are being made. Today, at the end of this film, I'm listing 7 guitars, 2 of which I really don't want to sell. Tough choices, you know, but I've got to be sensible, keep it moving on. This whole channel is a sort of, I refer to it as a sort of a guitar-based Ponzi scheme. Any moment, I think it's all going to come crashing down. But we need to sell some guitars, you know, to keep the circle of guitars turning. I can't keep them all. I don't need this one as much as one of you will need this guitar, so I'm selling it. The circle of guitars keeps on turning. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. Good to see you again. 2023 now, we're a week in, so all the Happy New Years are gone. All the Christmas greetings, it's done now. We're into a new year. And it's this time of year, well, we all look ahead, don't we? Well, I think we do, yeah. We all kind of look ahead. What's the plan? You know, what's the plan for the year? What I have to do at this time of year is make some tough decisions, really, to keep the circle of guitars working. This whole channel is a sort of, I refer to it as a sort of a guitar-based Ponzi scheme, if you know what that is. And at any moment, I think it's all going to come crashing down. So this time of year, I did it last year, and I'm going to do it again now. This time of year, I kind of make some tough decisions, you know, partly through necessity and partly through common sense, really. But we need to sell some guitars, you know, to keep the circle of guitars turning, really. If you saw the Christmas specials or the end of year roundups that I did, I said, in one of those, I said that last year, 2022, I'd bought 28 new guitars, 28 new guitars, okay? And that wasn't entirely true because before the end of the year, I'd bought another one, 29, and I'd put a deposit on another one. So that was 30 guitars. It's incredible, isn't it? Like 52 weeks and I bought 30 guitars. I mean, obviously I have a reason to, but of course, yeah, I am a guitar addict. So a guitar addict with a reason, that's, it's quite a combination, isn't it? But I also said that I hadn't sold many, and that wasn't really true actually, because so I had a look back. Obviously I keep a note of these stuff. I have been for years before I even started doing this. I keep a note of when I buy guitars, what I paid for them, and when I sell them and what I sell them for, which is how I can prove that you don't make money buying Gibsons. That's another story. We'll get into that a little bit later, okay? But yeah, I actually, so I bought all in all 30 guitars last year, but I also sold 31. There you go, it's perfect. The circle of guitars keeps on turning. A lot of people ask how I managed to have all these guitars in the first place. When I started this channel about 2 years ago, I had roughly 60 guitars. Just collected over a period of about 7 or 8 years. I bought guitars, and that's what I spent my money on, okay? I'm not a wealthy man, but every time I earned a bit of money or had a bit of money spare or was able to borrow a bit of money, I did that and bought guitars with it. So I got a lovely collection of some really nice guitars. And then obviously when I started the channel, I start to turn that over to buy. I still buy guitars that I want, rarely buy things just for the sake of reviewing them. Obviously sometimes I've got to keep that in mind, haven't I? You know, it's not all about me. But generally, you'll find that I'm looking at guitars that I do quite, I kind of like. They're my kind of thing. You know, you haven't seen many pointy guitars on this channel. You haven't seen many Strats on this channel. There's a reason for that. And if you watch the channel, you'll know why. But anyway, I shouldn't waffle too much at this point because you'll get bored and go. Let's get to the point. 2023, some tough decisions are being made today. Today, at the end of this film, I'm listing 7 guitars, 2 of which I really don't want to sell. But again, they're higher value items, from one of them from my personal collection, one of them you've seen a lot. Tough choices, you know, but I've got to be sensible, keep it moving on, and you know, and be optimistic. I can buy more guitars with the money that they hopefully bring in. So today, 7 guitars are going to be listed at the end of this. 2 of them are Gibsons. So should we get stuck in and find out what they are? Let's do it. Right, so let's start in an unlikely place. Let's start with, I did 2 episodes of ES335, The Rivals, didn't I? Starting with the Epiphone ES335 and then getting some alternatives. Did 2 episodes. The links are in the description box if you want to watch those, or on the channel. But in all, I bought, I think I bought 7 335 alternatives for that, and the Epiphone. So I'm going to start, we're going to get rid of 3 of those today. 3 of those. And yeah, I'm going to start in a very unlikely place. We're going to start with this one. The actual Epiphone ES335. This guitar, it may be familiar, very familiar to a lot of you, intimately familiar in fact, because I did a whole series upgrading this. I think it was 5 episodes where we changed everything. This is heavily modified, this. It's got Montes PAFs, it's got a Montes wiring loom, and all the hardware's been changed. This has now got a Faber lightweight aluminium tailpiece. I think I changed the posts as well. It's got a Faber ABR1 style bridge, and I changed the posts as well. So all of that's been changed as well. And it sounds great. It sounds really great. So why am I selling it, I hear you ask? Well, because I've just decided that 335s aren't really my thing. And this guitar needs to go to someone that will play it a lot and appreciate it. This guitar it's been said, the only time I play this guitar, have played this guitar, is when I've been filming it. And it's a guitar that I don't really even look at and want to pick up and play it, because I just don't really connect with ES335s. So this is the first one. This is going up on the channel at the end for sale. It doesn't have a hard case, unfortunately. It's got, you know, various scratches on it. It's been played a little bit on the channel here. I urge you to watch the whole series so you can see it's, you know, poking around, and it's not beaten up or anything, which is quite surprising given what it's been through. But it's a used guitar. It is what it is. It's not an expensive guitar. I hope you'll agree. This is for sale. Could be yours. And then next up from the 335 series is this Guild Starfire 1. Yeah, it's Starfire 1, I think, isn't it? I can't remember this stuff already. I haven't had it that long. Fabulous guitar. Link to the review is in the description box. Check it out. Sounds great, plays great. It's got coil splits, I think, on there. Brilliant, affordable guitar. I can't keep them all. So I've decided to sell this one. I'm keeping the Gretsch. I'm keeping the Casino. I like them. I've already sold the Riviera last year. Didn't want to, but, you know, my mate next door wanted it, so I sold it to him. You know, these things need to be played, and if, you know, I can't possibly play all the guitars here. As much as I'd like to, I just can't. So this one's going to a better home. This is on Reverb. Link to my shop is in the description box, by the way. So there you go. This one's going. As is this Sheraton Stealth, the Emily Wolf signature. Brilliant guitar. Great guitar. Great guitar that I just haven't picked up even. I haven't had time to play it since the review, which was ages ago. Link in the description box. Really fabulous guitar. Comes with a really nice Epiphone soft case, this one. Check out the review and you'll hear it and you'll see it. You know, should really be played. It's not a guitar I really would choose to sell, but then none of my guitars are guitars that I'd really choose to sell. So I've got to be realistic, haven't I? You know, what will, you know, it just needs to go to someone that will play it. It's in great nick. It's pretty much as new. I think I've only played it in the review, played it in the film ES335 The Rivals Part 1. Links are in the description box. If you fancy that, buy it. Next up, first of two cheapies really. This one's the Harley Benton MR. check out the review. It's a wonderful, cheap banger of a guitar. Harley banger, I called it. Great little thing. Sounds great, plays great, cheap as chips. I haven't had time to play it, so it needs to go to someone that will enjoy it. Cheap guitar. Fancy a cheap guitar with P90s with vibe. MR Classic Vintage Series. I'd go as far to say as this is immaculate. Oh, it's got the plastic on the pickguard, I think, on this. Yeah, it's got the plastic on the pickguard still. Yeah. What can you say? Check it out. And this, my friends, is the Vintage, the brand V120 Icon. Remember it? I've only had this a little while, actually. Very cool guitar. Very, very nice. What can I say? Another little brilliant, affordable guitar needs a good home. Is that you? And there's this. Recognise this one? So this is where we're going to get into a little bit more depth about the difficulty selling guitars. We have selling guitars, you know what I mean. If you're into guitars like I am, you know that sometimes you have to sell them, and you don't want to. You never want to sell a guitar, but you just can't keep them all, can you? And if you watch the channel, you'll know that I'm in an R-in, as we say here, about this Les Paul Standard 50s, Gibson Les Paul Standard 50s, for some time. I've had it about 18 months now, coming on for 18 months now, and I've got great value out of it on the channel. And yeah, it's that thing, isn't it? This is the first thing I always say about this guitar. It's a fabulous looking guitar. And I really like this Cherry Sunburst. Some people have called it Clownburst, which, I don't know, I like this Cherry Sunburst. The only disappointing thing about this is that it probably won't fade like the older ones used to. I don't know if that's true. I really don't know if that's true. It might fade. That something in the back of my mind tells me I've heard that the nitro that they use nowadays doesn't fade. Of course, custom shop ones, I know that the R8 that I had and sold, as you know, last year, remember UPS lost it and then found it again, that one did fade, had faded a fair old bit. And well, I can't say, well, I can't talk for you, can I? But I like it when that happens, because you can see that the guitar's aging with you and becoming more, more you. And that guitar will carry on living, you know, with Hen, you know, his new owner. Its new owner. Did I say his? It's not a he. The guitar, Hen's a he. The guitar's not, is it? But I don't attribute gender to my guitars really. Neither way really. I don't necessarily think they're she's. They're gender neutral, my guitars, I suppose. I'm very woke, you see. That's not the reason, but it just happens to be true. The guitars are gender neutral, and I'm woke. Let's move on. So this, what was I talking about? I was talking about my Gibson Les Paul Standard 50s. It's a really tough choice because the Gibson Les Paul Standard, as we know, is the pinnacle of guitar ownership, isn't it? It's a rite of passage. And I know that so many of you out there have put in the comments before when I've spoken about selling this one, don't do it, you'll regret it, you know, all this. And you might be right, but as I said at the start, it's tough choices really, and this one, there's enough value in this to say to me, look, it's not my favourite Les Paul. I mean, let's get that out of the way now. You know, I'm not a very good salesman, but this isn't my favourite Les Paul. There's nothing wrong with it, and it sounds great, but I've got others that I prefer. Specifically for all of you that are gonna have a go at me for selling a Gibson Les Paul, I've got another Les Paul Standard. It's got another Gibson Custom Shop 1954 reissue, okay, one with the P90s and wrap over bridge. I was going to bring it in when I'm filming today, but it's at home and I forgot, so I can't. But it's, you know, it's my Gibson Les Paul. That's my Gibson Les Paul. I don't need this one as much as one of you will need this guitar, so I'm selling it, okay? So this is going, warts and all, and if you've watched any of the films that I've done on this, and I will put all the links in the description box, there's a lot of stuff to catch up on. If you're thinking of buying this one, check them out, because it's got a couple of little issues. Well, it's got one big issue. It's got stand rash on the back there. Hopefully that camera's picking that up. There it is now. It's got a big scar on the back there from where I put it on, I suppose, a cheap guitar stand, although it was claimed that they were Gibson proof, these stands, but it turned out not to be the case. So it's got this big old, it's like it's burned really, isn't it? The rubber burns Gibson Nitro. This is so bad that I had one comment on this claiming that I'd staged it. He said, "They can't possibly be that bad, you must have staged that." I didn't. That's actually happened from just being on the stand. So it's got that, and I think it's got a little ding somewhere else. It's got a ding there. Yeah, I mean, I chuck the guitars around on here, so it's going to have little scratches on it. Front looks pretty good. Now, with this stand rash thing, I was going to have a go at fixing it, but I decided that I might make it worse. So what I am going to say is I'm going to throw in the stuff that I bought to try and fix that with. I'll show you what it is. Here you go. I've bought some Meguiar's, I don't know how it's pronounced, Ultimate Compound, which is a cutting compound, and some abrasive sheets from 2000 grit down to 40 grit, and some buffing pads for your drill. So if I get what I'm asking for on this guitar, I'll chuck that in, and then if you want to have a go at fixing it yourself, you can. Or I'd advise you to send it to someone that knows what they're doing, you know, French polishing, someone that can do it properly. Or just leave it, you know, it's part of the guitar's story. So it's up to you. If you buy it, it'll be yours and do what you want with it. But you know, it's a nice weight, this one. Check out the reviews. I think it was about £8 4 ounces. This says a really nice weight for a Les Paul. I'm gone into salesman mode now, haven't I? Let's just balance that out. It's got a sticky neck, you know. It's one of those things that you probably ignore. A lot of people probably ignore it, just forget about it. It does not bother a lot of people. But once you start thinking about it, fortunately, I'm going to throw in some sandpaper so you can just sand that back and make it like nice and smooth. Apart from that, it's got, you know, it's a Gibson. It's a Gibson lespaul standard 50s. I'll be sorry to let this go, but I think the time's come. Beginning of the year, tough choices. This can go. And in my mind, I think, well, then that opens the door for me to buy another Les Paul standard, or even maybe another custom shop one in the future, so that at least then I can keep the Les Paul dialogue going on this channel. We can't keep harking back to this one, can we? We know what this one's like. So maybe now needs to go to a better home, and in the future we'll buy some new. We'll buy some more. I don't know, new ones. I don't think I'll ever buy a new one again, because I'll lose 400 or 500 quid on this for sure. There's a lot of them about. You know, you can't. You know, she's not going to get your money back on a new Gibson unless, I think, you hang on to it for a little bit. Okay, let's put that thought on hold, and we'll bring it out again in a second when we look at the next guitar. Let's just go to the sad music as we play out my Gibson Les Paul Standard 50s. Now, this is a guitar that I very much don't really want to sell, but I've given it a lot of thought and decided to sell it. And it is this, my 2017 Gibson SG Custom. It's all right, isn't it? I say this is from my personal collection, in that I've had this since 2017, since I bought it new, and it hasn't really featured on the channel. It's popped up in one film, I think, when I did the SG comparisons. I'll put the link in the description box, but I don't think I showed it at its best. Hopefully the playing today shows what it's capable of. Now this model, 2017, as I said, got it new then. This is the one with the rich like fingerboard. Limited edition this, I think it was 200 only worldwide. The only other person I know that's got one of these is that brilliant YouTuber, Paul Davies. He's got one of these and he loves it as well. And I love it. I made a few changes to this. You can see it's got my signature witch hat knobs, which I love. I also changed the pickups. These are Seymour Duncan 59s, which are better than the originals, which were these. Here's the originals. These are the 498T and the 490R Gibson, yeah, gold. Yeah, so it's got Seymour Duncan 59s, which I preferred. I also changed the bridge. This is an ABR 1 style. That was the original Nashville that was on it. So I changed that as well because I preferred it. if I get what I'm asking for this, I will chuck in the original stuff, obviously. This comes with, I hate doing all this sales stuff, but you know, well, this is what this film's about, I suppose, isn't it? This has got the custom shop certificate and the hard case, which still smells lovely, incidentally. So, it's been used, it's been well used. It's been played a lot, it's been played a fair amount, this. There's a little bit of wear on the fret. Oh, it's only a little bit, all done by me. I've given it a little bit of a polish, you know. It's got the sort of wear you'd expect for a guitar that's been played a bit, not abused though. Got a few little scratches. I mean, this has got less scratches on it than my Les Paul Junior Scratch. You know, the one that I got from Peach Guitars with all the scratches on it. This has got hardly any scratches on it, actually, surprisingly enough. There's no real buckle rash. I don't wear a big buckle exposed to scratch my guitars. Not that daft. Anyway, there it is. The reason I think it's okay to let this go, which is a beautiful guitar, is because it's got some value attached to it. And I've got two other black SGs, these ones. I've got this SG Standard, and as you may remember, my latest acquisition, this black SG Special, you know, with a hole in the back. So very tough choice. I tend to make decisions though, and then I don't rarely look back. I rarely look back with any regrets. I mean, I'm a glass half full person anyway. I'll go, oh, what can I buy instead? So, you know, that'll do it for me. And it'll be gone. And as you can see, I've got plenty of other SGs as well. Some great custom shop ones as well. I've got a couple of custom shop SGs. So, you know, it's not as if somebody else doesn't deserve this more than me, really, I suppose. So, yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, in terms of value, I will hopefully get back a little bit more than I paid for this. But I know when I bought it, I probably bought it about 500 quid off of the list price anyway. So by the time, I think I'll get about the list price back for it. So I'll hopefully, well, I'm not going to sell it if I lose money on it, basically. This one, I know what you know, it's going to be fairly firm on the price. The Les Paul Standard as well, to be honest with you, because you know, there's no, I can't, unless I like the person that wants to buy it. We'll see what happens anyway. So that's it. We'll hear them some more. That's what they are. If you're thinking about buying them, make sure you watch the reviews so you know what these guitars are all about. Intimately, I'll add to the listing over the next few days. So the link to my Reverb shop is in the description box below. First link will be to my Reverb shop. After this video drops, these guitars will be on there for sale. If any of them aren't, it's because they've been sold already. So if you fancy them, get involved. And what I was going to say, I won't be shipping with UPS, okay, this time. I will quote, you know, wherever you are, we'll quote for shipping if you want to do it worldwide. And I'll add some Apple AirTags this time. So if one does go missing, hopefully we'll be able to find out where it is before the courier. Okay. I wish I'd done that. I had loads of comments on the UPS video from people saying Apple AirTags. And having looked into that, it seems like that could have been the answer, because what we did finally discover when they lost my RPA, it was sitting in their depot. Well, apparently sitting in there. I mean, it might not have been. It might have been in someone's home and he had to sneak it back in. But on the face of it, it seemed like it was sitting in their depot, which is 20 miles up the road from me. So I'm going to add Apple AirTags to all of these guitars when I ship them, because that might be a bit of fun and we might get a film out of that, mightn't we? So there you go. That's it. That's this film. It's a bit of a. I don't normally try and sell you stuff, do I? I mean, you know, be fair. I'm not normally trying to flog my latest guitar course with a 60% introductory discount, am I? Because I don't do that sort of stuff, you know. Today, I have to sell some guitars to buy some new guitars to share with you. So, if you fancy buying one of these, link to my reverb shop's in the description box. If you don't, thank you for your indulgence. Hopefully you've enjoyed something about this anyway. Maybe the playing, I think it's all right today. We'll see. It is what it is, isn't it? Always is what it is. Fingers crossed that'll come out good. I'll be sorry to see these go. But anyway, let's look on the bright side. I can go shopping for some new guitars. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. Come back next week. Same time, same place. Another guitar review. I've already got one. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but Telecasters. Okay, got some Telecasters coming in. And let's see what they are next week, shall we? Well, see what one of them is next week. Yeah. See you then. Try. Bye.